this forum will be?
I think that's a really interesting question. I've been able to attend several of the sessions that we've had here and hear from so many people from so many different backgrounds. And something that's really impressed me is kind of how we think about our communities and how they're made up of individuals, and how we need to recognize how important it is to the well-being of community, the well-being of individuals, and vice versa. Kind of a global solidarity, if you will. And so having so many people here from so many different places, different organizations, different religious traditions has been super interesting. I think that a gentleman from Brazil that I was in a session in remarked about how a lot of the issues that they're facing here in Brazil, perhaps with indigenous groups or in the Amazon, are very similar to some of the issues that they're facing in Africa or in Asia. Maybe it's climate issues or social issues, but that when we come all here together and we're able to discuss those things, then we're able to recognize, yes, our differences and our diversity in thought and in culture, but also more how we are connected and how coming together and solving these problems as a group are able to help our individual communities and create this global solidarity and this synergy within the global community. I really love the idea of interdependence, kind of the idea of that we are more than the sum of our parts. Because when you think of codependence, then you think, okay, well, I'm relying on this other person to give me everything, and they're relying on me, and a lot of times that ends us we end up with less than we think that we're going to. Because sometimes, as much as you want to depend on people all the time, things ebb and flow. And so if you're completely dependent on just one thing or one person, then you don't really allow any room for humanity to actually exist. And so I think here we're able to, when we share those ideas, we really humanize each other, the different cultures, the different religious traditions, all those different backgrounds, and we're able to create those connections that allow us to come together as a group and allow for that ebb and flow to be a strength of ours rather than a weakness. And that's how you really gain that interdependence. When I say, okay, I know that here in India, this is working really, really well. And I recognize that I have a very similar problem here in Brazil. Let's work together on this. What technology are you using? What is doing that? And then you can share back what you're doing with them. And because everybody has different struggles, different problems, things like that. But everyone also has different strengths. And so allowing these strengths and weaknesses to be shared allow us to go a lot farther, a lot faster, more of this exponential growth. So many religious traditions have so many beautiful, intricate parts of them. I hold my own faith tradition very closely and very dearly, but coming together in an interfaith setting has allowed me to see just how connected and how similar a lot of the core values that a lot of us share are. And so we may think, oh my goodness, like I'm so different from this other person, but when I bring them close together and I have a conversation and I say, oh wow, you practice indigenous spirituality in Mexico, but what you're saying is really resonating with me, and it speaks to my own spirit, to my own faith. And so bringing all of us together and able to do that really highlights the respect and the underlying recognition that all of us are human beings. I believe that we're all children of God, and however another person practices their own religion and has that concept of connection and togetherness and family or humanity, then this is really the perfect setting for that to kind of take root and allow for changes to happen in policy or religious freedom and things like that. I know I personally am Christian, and when I think of leaving no one behind, my mind immediately goes to Jesus Christ when he talks about the flock of 100 sheep, and there's the 99 sheep, but one has been lost. And how every time he said he would go back to find the one and bring it back into the fold. And I think that kind of comes together, kind of what I said at the beginning, how an individual is made of, is a part of a community, and a community is comprised of individuals. And the well-being of both of them is dependent on the well-being of each of those parts. So if I'm trying to not leave anybody behind, then I'm going and finding the one. I'm bringing back to the fold because they have strengths, and they have abilities, and they have weaknesses, and they have humanity that is necessary for the good of the group. And the group is able to also go then and take this person under their wing, take this sheep back into the fold, and help them just in the way that they help each other. It really becomes this synergistic, symbiotic relationship. And it's more than just, okay, wow, this is more productive. But I think, kind of like I said, that core humanity goes back into all of it. We're all children of God. We're all human beings. We're all part of this earth together. And recognizing that innate part of all of us and not leaving anybody behind, making sure to bring everybody in and create those relationships is really what that means to me.